Good Monday morning! I have something fun for you today. If you enjoyed my Hackers Challenge, then I might have something that you might enjoy even more. Look at this. I found this today. It's like a Hackers Challenge, but it's an audit challenge. You gotta find vulnerabilities in an Anchor v2 program, and we do love Anchor v2, don't we? And you can even win prizes. And when I first looked at it, I was like, what? I should find a bug in your program and then I'm just rewarded $500? But then I realized, no, this is not a protocol that is live, that is being used. It's an actual challenge. Like a program that deliberately contains bugs for us to find. And then that's a whole different story. Because then $500 is a good price. That being said, I don't recommend that you do it for the money. Also, might be a bit late on that. But it just shows that there is an incentive here. And this is already week 4, which means there have been 3 previous weeks. So 3 more hacker challenges. And in this video today, I just want to have a look at it and mainly show you that this exists such that you can participate. So let's repost this. Let's follow Frank. Honestly, I don't know who that person is. I don't know them personally, but it doesn't really matter. As long as we can learn something in that challenge, I don't mind who developed it. So thanks Frank Keisel for developing it. Also, I saw the tweet being reposted by Robert Chen, who is the founder of OtterSec, and those I know and I trust. Also Jacob already reposted this. So it seems to be an actual interesting thing that we could have a look at. Let's go. Start hacking here in the Solana Audit Arena by Frank Castle Auditor. Let's go. So step 1, we're gonna check out this repository. Clone this and open the Frank Sol. Let's see. So there are 2 programs here, the Stake v2 and the Yield Generator. I think the Stake v2, this is the main program. Oh, by the way, my recommended way of going about those things is number 1, understand the scope, understand what is going on. So that was, okay, we're in a hackers challenge now. What's our goal? We want to learn something. And maybe our goal is we want to build a reputation. Or maybe our goal is to win that prize. If we were to want to win that prize, then we would need to pay better attention to this though, because we're already a bit late. Because the submission window is always a week and it starts Monday at midnight UTC, which is 2 a.m. my time, which is when I have been sleeping. So maybe if I want to participate next week, I want to, hack at night. And then we should also get familiar with the rules, like how do we submit, if that was our goal, how do we get points, there. And those are the submission rules. Yeah. So that would be step 1. In my case today, my primary goal is to tell you about this, because I do think that that's a really fun thing to do, like hackers challenges. And maybe I also want to hack a little bit myself. We'll see. But my primary goal is to tell you how to go about it. And so I already mentioned step 1, get familiar with the rules and know for yourself what your goal is. And then step 2 would be to get familiar with the program that you're analyzing, that you're auditing or hacking. So you want to understand what is it trying to do and how is it implemented. And only then in step 3 you would go to actually find bugs in that program. Or alternatively, if that's not for you, you might go another route. But we'll talk about this later when we get there. For now, let me try and understand what's happening here. Maybe there's an obvious bug here. So yes, we do have Anchor in version 2, which is pretty sweet. There is an event. We have several instructions: initialize, stake, unstake, deploy to yield, withdraw from yield, set admin, set fund manager, set recipients, and set user blacklist. And all of those instructions are implemented here. Then I also really like to look at state as one of the first things I look at. See, it's a pod seriable. Nice. So a fee recipient argument. Interesting. Oh, so this is Porsche and this is the pod version. Where is that being used? As an argument, I see. I love hacking, it's just fun. Okay, I'm already getting distracted. The pool, that's gonna be an interesting thing that lives in an account. A pool has an admin, a fund manager, the mint for the liquid staking token, By the way, what are we building? A stake program, liquid staking something something. It can have up to 3 recipients. It has total sol, it has deployed sol, it has the frank sol supply. Nice. Stores the bump, stores the vault bump, stores the mint authority bump. Okay. And a user position will have an owner, which is an address. Nice. A frank sol balance, deposited sol, and is blacklisted, which the admin can set, and also stores the bump. Okay. Cool, so those are the 2 types of accounts that we'll have. There are some helper functions. Why is it using a U128 here? To make sure we have enough space to work with, because we're doing multiplies. So it's also fun to look at that to see how other people implement their code. Treasury pub key configured by admin. I don't know what they're thinking here, but I'm sure you could do that better. Because if you're using it here, then you don't want to have it an unchecked account. I'm not saying it's unsafe. I'm just saying it's not good practice. Treasury as well. If you're using the treasury, I mean for efficiency, but I would at least check that it's an initialized account. Because if it isn't and it gets a little bit of fees, then it will break if it doesn't have enough for rent. That's one note I already have on this. Otherwise, it's looking good. The vault is also an unchecked account. I mean, if it's just a PDA just holding sol, I mean, what could possibly go wrong? You just derive this from this constant vault. I mean, is that clean? And if no, how could I exploit that? At least check that it's a system program account if you don't use it as a program account. Then you're removing stuff from the vault also with a system program? That seems a bit weird. Yeah. We transfer from the user to the vault with a system program transfer. Then we mint 2 with this authority, PDA signing mint CPI. So we're signing, the mint authority is also a PDA, which sounds good. But also good practice would be in this case to make the frank sol mint itself a PDA and then sign with this if it's already handled by the program. Because this is also a PDA, it's just a different one. I don't know why you need 2. Good practice in my eyes would be to use the same one. Then you save one account and you save yourself the deriving of this, and it's an unchecked account anyway, so you're not doing anything with this. So then where's the unstake? That's where I'm now interested in the vault, which is again an unchecked account. I don't like this. Then where are you using this? Vault. You're again doing a transfer with a system program. So you're again doing a CPI. It's just much cleaner if you would make this a program account. Make the vault account an actual program account that you assign to the program, and then that program can control the sol directly and you don't need to go through the system program. I mean, it's still safe that way. It's just inefficient having to go through a CPI with the system program. So it's not a vulnerability, it's again a best practice. And then you're doing 3 transfers also all with a system program. This is so inefficient. Yo, you could save so much compute by having the vault account actually being owned by the program. So those would be my 2 findings just by looking at it real quick. I'm currently checking if I can somehow initialize the vault with something else, because if I could somehow at some account get this as my seeds and create an account with that, then I would brick the entire vault, which would render the entire staking program useless. So it's a denial of service attack. But I don't think I can manage. Everywhere where they use initialize, they use those prefixes in the seeds, so I will never get to just vault anywhere. Created as a PDA system account with 0 data. Wait, but what is it doing here in the initialize with a vault? Oh, it's just using that to store it. It's creating account with 0 space. Program ID. What? What's the program ID? Lives for the whole instruction since it comes from the entry point's input buffer. Wait, but here you're setting the owner of the vault to our program ID? Then you don't need the system program anymore. So you're creating the vault account, you're putting enough rent. But if you're setting the owner as the program ID of this vault account, then this vault account should allow you to transfer not with the system program anymore, because it's not owning that. Does that even work? The tests are not particularly helpful. At that point, I would really like to deploy and test this program, but I still don't have the full understanding of how it actually works, like also in combination with that other program, the yield generator. User position, program guide, owned by this program. So apparently the vault is supposed to be owned by this program, which is what the source code says as well. But then we don't need system program to transfer, no? If you blacklist someone and you freeze their ATA, that's also weird. Let me look at that. Where is this blacklist? Oh, in admin, I see. So we're setting the is blacklisted, and then if it is blacklisted, we freeze the account for this mint with this authority and the user ATA. But they could have moved it out from there, put it in a different token account at that point. So the tokens are not necessarily frozen is what I'm saying. They probably still can't take it out because in the unstake probably have a check for is blacklisted. Yeah, if the user is blacklisted, they can't unstake this entire position. But it could use the tokens for a different position or whatever. So it's not the best, not the cleanest implementation, but it's okay. Can the user have several positions? Let's see. User position. Where do we... Here, user position and user address. No, a user can just have one position, one account, one such user position. Okay, so freezing doesn't necessarily work. Franksol isn't checking that it's actually the ATA, it's just checking that it's a mint of this, like that it's a token with this mint. It's not checking that it's the ATA. So you could put a different token account here. So yeah, the entire freezing of the ATA I see as unnecessary. Anyway, those are three things that I found just by quickly looking at it. The one thing is with this ATA freezing doesn't really make sense. At the initialize, here we are creating this, like we are assigning this to our program, but then when we use it, we're still using system program transfers from the vault. That's just weird and looks like a bug. And the authority I would just use as the mint, because we're not really using the authority otherwise. It's just more compute usage. Those are the three things that I found just by quickly looking at it, not even deploying and testing it. And I'm pretty sure that's not the only things that are wrong with this program. I'm sure there are critical vulnerabilities here as well. I didn't see them on first glance, but I'm sure they are. And I'm sure people already found them. If we look at the issues, there's already a bunch of submissions for week 4. It's been 12 hours that this challenge has been going on, and people have been quick. Look, the first critical vulnerability was found 12 hours ago. Enables full pool drain. Well, that doesn't sound good. And now here's the thing. For this challenge, since all of the submissions are public, only the first person submitting it will get the points. That's why you want to be quick. And that's why you might want to start hacking on Monday 0 UTC. If you're after the prize, which I'm not. I do want to find vulnerabilities myself though. And I might look at it a bit longer, just for myself. But with you, I still want to go through the process of submitting here, because that's somewhat relevant. And also, for the people who are like, whoa, I mean, I can look at this, but I have no idea. I'm relatively new to Solana development and I couldn't find any vulnerabilities here. Then, here's what I would recommend for you. People are submitting the vulnerabilities that they find. There, like blacklisted Franksol can be redeemed through a clean wallet. I think that's one of them that I also already hinted at. And so you can just read through that to understand what the issue is. And with that knowledge, you can then try and exploit it yourself. Like try and write a test by yourself, seeing if you can exploit that very thing that they describe. This critical vulnerability, for instance. Deploy to yield except signer as fund manager with no checks of pool fund manager. The sister handler in the same crate enforces it, but deploy to yield skips it. And they describe it really nicely. First setup, then the attacker calls this, then the attacker calls this. Pretty well done. And all because there was a missing check here. Interesting. So you could read this and then be like, hey, I know how it's done now, let me try it. If you're not comfortable with finding exploits yourself, see what exploits other people found and then try to use them on the program. Because that will also train you, first of all, to interact with programs, and it will teach you what are the common vulnerabilities or what are the common things that programs mess up such that they are exploitable. That's why I also think that's a good strategy to do this. Let's see, what else is there? Pre-funding Vault PDA bricks program initialization. Yes, true. You can't system program create account if there is already Sol on that account. And with that example, let's look at how they expect you to do a submission. So first they want to say for which challenge, that's week 4 this week, who did it, what's the severity, and the severity we saw here. Critical is direct loss of funds or protocol takeover with no preconditions other than a normal transaction. High is significant loss of funds, privilege escalation, or bypassing of core access control. Medium, limited loss of funds or denial of service, or state corruption that requires specific conditions or have a bounded impact. And low is minor issues, best practice violations, or gas optimizations that do not lead to loss of funds. I have like 2 of those and 1 of those that I found by just looking at it. So yeah, that's that. Then the category, like what is happening and which functions are affected. Okay, then you give a description of what's going wrong. You talk about the impact. An attacker can front-run deployment initialization. Then the initializer can no longer initialize. And then they also want you to provide a proof of concept code where you actually exploit or write a test that would exploit that they have a pre-funded vault, and then the initialize shouldn't work anymore. And also important, a recommended fix. Do not use plain create account for deterministic PDAs. So my solution would be to just use an allocate instead of a create. If it's a system program 0 data and already has Lampard, top it up, rand exceptions, and then allocate and assign with signer seeds. Or create account allow pre-fund. That's a thing? Interesting. Okay, should we see if somebody has already submitted the other 2 things that I found? Maybe I'm gonna get at least 1 point. Let's aim for 1 point here in this challenge. Because the cool thing also about this, if you submit something and you're wrong, people will tell you that you're wrong. And maybe I am wrong. I have been wrong before. Look at my track record. Maybe it's just another one of these, but we will see by doing this publicly. Again, the goal is to learn, not to win. So my recommendation was that those should be the same account, that the mint authority you might as well put into the mint. Let's see if somebody already talked about this. Missing token authority constraint on user A in stake. That's true, it's checking that's the correct mint, but it's not checking that it's owned by the signing user. Similar, but not the same. Event values. Is that because they're logging that before it's successful? I saw that, but then I was like, yeah, kind of makes sense. You might want to see that event for debugging purposes, but you're right. Actually, if you treat it as an event, then it should only be logged if it actually happened, so only on success. So it should be the last thing you do. Oh, and he even says that it's logging the wrong things. That's an actual bug then. Okay, anyway, but not what I wanted to find. So yeah, there are many bugs in this program. Many that I also didn't see. So it's cool to look at this list of what other people found to learn what else you can do wrong. So I really like this. I really like this challenge. I really like those examples. That's really cool. It's a nice learning environment. Ah, look, the yield generator deposit is just using init, not init if needed like the stake does. So many bugs, crazy. So it doesn't seem like anybody has already talked about this authority thing. I think that's the one that I'm gonna submit then. So let's read how we're supposed to submit this. Okay, let's do this. Wait, where were we? Here. Let's go. Let's create a new issue. Week 4. Serenity low. Short description. Mint authority PDA could be merged with token mint or with mint PDA. Or in other words, token mint PDA would be a sufficient mint authority. Okay, step 2, the body. Okay, week number 4. Researcher low. Category, I would say this is best practice. CU optimization token authority. I don't know. Is that a category? Initialize stake and unstake, how affected functions. It's not a vulnerability. Code. Boom. Is that how you write code? How do you work with GitHub? Damn it. This? I guess. Let's see. Does this even build different program ID? It's okay. I think I'm going to vibe code a bit. Claude says I can't merge them. And Claude has been outsmarting me before. But I'm pretty sure it's possible. I'm pretty sure that that's the best practice. That's how I would do it at least. Ah, good. I was wrong in my earlier explanation. You can sign from Mint, even though SPL token owns it, because PDA signing is based on address derivation for the program ID, not account ownership. This is a valid simplification, making changes across all files. Thank you, Claude. The one time I was smarter again. I'm not always losing against you. Thanks. Okay, so we remove the Mint authority, such that we can remove the Mint authority bump from here. And then we don't need this Mint authority account here. And we just set the Mint and freeze authority to the Mint itself. And we also don't need to remember this bump. Yeah, vibing. And then we do the same for the stake. Remove the Mint authority. And then when we're signing, we also need to change that. Yep. Here we're now signing with the Mint seed. And the authority will be the Mint itself. Yes. We can do this for all files. There we go. Cool. Does that still build? Nope. We have a mutable borrower and an immutable borrower now. Why do you want to make the pool now the authority? What are you doing? Okay, fine, make the pool the authority. I don't think I want to do this nicely. I'm just a lazy person. It's not even an exploit. A TypeScript test that triggers the vulnerability. Include code if possible. Yeah, we'll see about that. Now, I don't know how to properly format this such that that's proper Rust and these things are proper Git, but I think it's good enough. If I don't win this point, then that's fine with me. I just want to make sure that I got that right and that that's actually a thing that you can do and that's valid. So that's why I'm posting this, to see if somebody says, no, actually, like Claude did in the beginning, actually that's not the right strategy, but whatever. I'm just going to create this now because at some point it's got to be enough. Yeah. Again, I'm not here to win this, so whatever. I participated. That's all. Participation is half the price or something. No, how do you say? Anyway, I'm happy with this. I made a point. I didn't find a critical vulnerability. Also, I didn't properly look yet. But I guess I'm gonna leave that up to you. Have a look at this challenge or also the older challenges. Like there's Mission X. What is that? And if you want to see the old issues, then just check for all of them. Check for the closed issues and then you'll find what people submitted for previous weeks. So yeah, this is a pretty cool project. I like the Solana Audit Arena. You can certainly learn something here. Thanks Frank Castle for building this. Yeah, if you're up for a prize, maybe you find something critical. Or you come back next week, Monday. Midnight UTC is where the next challenge starts. I assume there will be more challenges. Or at least, I hope so. And with that, I'm gonna leave you. Thanks for watching me attempt to do some hacking. More like, here's some best practices that I'm aware of. See, I see those things immediately, but the proper exploits, I would need to think a bit more about that. Maybe I still will. Maybe I still will participate with this. But for now, I leave the floor to you. Don't want to spoil everything. The fun part is also to just try it yourself. Don't force yourself to want to win the prizes. I think that's the wrong strategy. I think just going in it for learning something is the right strategy. And if you then happen to find something and win a prize, then that's great. But it is already very competitive. Because within the first minutes, people are like, that's a bug, that's a critical vulnerability. So it's like, whew, okay. But yeah, that's what happens if you do that publicly. And that's pretty cool. And I enjoy that because I enjoy hacking. Also finding the ways to write cleaner code. And for all of that, I think this challenge is pretty cool, this Solana Audit Arena. Once again, thanks Frank. Here's another challenge where Claude outsmarted me. Here's another video. Make sure you are subscribed and I'll see you in the next one. Till then, bye bye. And good luck at the Solana Audit Arena.